What's up, everyone? What's happening? So we hit a little milestone on this channel. Hit 8,000 subscribers today, which is that Rick playing? No, that was not me playing. Or that was me playing, yes. But somebody asked if it was Aiden. No, it's not Aiden. Come on. Anyways, hit 8,000. 271,000, maybe 272,000, something like that on the main channel. Over 1,000 subscribers again today, averaging 1,510. Frederick, yeah, Misha commended me on my transcription. Pretty funny, right? He commented on it. He said because it was right. You know, this is interesting. Subi, you have 3 subscribers. Subi, what's your real name? Are you Chip? Wait a minute. Hold on. I know what his name is. Hold on. I'm gonna unmask him right now here. Hold on. There we go. It's Corey. Corey. What's up, Corey? I'm not calling you Subi anymore. Daniel, you're welcome for the response. I try to respond to as many emails as I can. What makes this song great is driving the 8K. Probably, yeah, I think. You guess what's up? Yeah, that's definitely had. I just was looking at the when I saw the 8K, I was just going back and looking at the main channel, looking at the last 30 days, and it's been YouTubers do this. You all should be. We're unmasking everyone with a weird handle. Ibg. I don't even know how to say that. What is your name? That's what I want to know. Anyways, so January 27th, I believe it was the last time I had under 1,000 subscribers. I had 880, I think. What's up, Desmond? Long time no see. Lenny. Oh my God, Lenny. I'm writing that down. Put that on the list here. Corey and Lenny. Yeah, that's good. Lenny, like Lenny Tristano. Writing it down. There we go. Let's keep a list. The Lame Lloyd. Who are you? What is your name? I know Start the Rebellion is Ray. I'm going to just start referring to people. You have a cousin who's famous in music. Who is it? No, we don't joke around series of theories with people. With famous people that are... Retcon X, who are you? Schizo. Lou. Like my brother. One of my brothers. Justin, is your real name Bob? Is that true? You can call me Al. I mean Austin. Austin! I hope your name is Austin. Don't lie to me on stuff like this. I don't like people lying. Justin, that's your real name? Oh, the Sicilian Mafia. That's right. Nerd from Denmark. You're Daniel? Hold on. Nerd. Somebody just bought my record. Come on, John, Jocko John. It's not Macaw, is it? American Devil, you're Aaron. Philip, you're related to Gustav Mahler distantly? That's cool. Clawhammer is Corey. Brett, oh, Smitty. Smitty is unbelievable. So here's the thing about Smitty that we didn't talk about. So Smitty spent all this time playing the piano, and he used to play with Charlie Hayden, all these people, right? And then he got married in the early 90s, and totally weird story, okay? That Aiden solo that I played, that I did the art of soloing, that has a vocal part in it, okay? This is, you're not gonna believe this story. Oh man, I'll tell this. So the girl that sang the vocals was my roommate at the time. She'll remain nameless. So anyways, this is back in 85 or whatever. So I played Paul, who's back in Ithaca, because he quit school for 2 years, bought a house, sold it, made a bunch of money, bought a bunch of recording gear, bought an 8-track reel-to-reel and a console. Had a Mac SE, little box. This is the mid-'80s. So I came back to Ithaca during the summer, and I said, you got to hear this guy, Aiden, that I'm friends with. So I played that tune, and I'll play you the part where the singer sings, this woman. And Paul said, hold on, I'm going to play you this one section of the tune, because this goes with, you have to hear to understand the story and understand Smitty. This is really, really interesting. He'd probably be really mad that I told the story. So this is her singing. So check this out. Okay, so I played that for Smitty. He'd never heard that. This is 1985 or 86, whenever it was. I'm in Ithaca. I play it for him at his house, and he says, I want to marry that woman. Who is that? And I said, well, that's my old roommate. He said, who's this guy? Who is this guy, Aiden? And who is that woman? I said, this is a girl that lived with me for the last year. I was roommates, one of my 2 roommates. So he says, he says, I've got to meet her. And I said, okay. I said, well, she moved out. She's living somewhere else in Boston, I think. But she works at this restaurant the last time I heard. This is before the internet or anything. So Paul and I decide to drive. So Paul says, we're going to Boston. Okay, this is how impulsive Paul is. So we go to Boston, to try and find her. Okay. This is this day that he hears this for the first time. So we drive to Boston and find out that Iden has a gig. Now I've moved from there, right? I'm living in Ithaca at the time, and it was the summer. I was taking some summer classes to finish off my master's degree, or because I took off a semester. So we go to Boston. We go to this restaurant, and I asked if she was working. He said, "Oh no, she just moved back to California." Oh, and do you have a number for her? No. Okay, her name was Deirdre, because it's hard to tell the story without telling her name. So Deirdre is not. No, she's not living here. So, anyways, we stop by, and Paul meets Iden, and Iden says, "I've got a gig tonight. You guys you're gonna hang?" And so yeah, we'll hang. So we go to the Willow Jazz Club, and he's playing with George Garzone, Fringe, basically. George Garzone, Bruce Gertz, and Bob Galati, I think. I can't remember now. So anyway, so I have a recording from that gig. So where Iden plays softly as in a morning sunrise, that is unbelievable. The intro for it. Let's see if I can find that so you can kind of get the whole story. Then the story gets really good here. Hold on. This is crazy. This is all pre. Yeah, here we go. Listen to the beginning of this. Okay, so Paul and I sit through this gig, and our minds are blown. We drive back to Ithaca the next day, and Paul, I make the cassette of that song with Deirdre singing, and once a year, I get my teaching gig at Ithaca. Paul goes out to Cal Arts, studies there, gets his master's degree in jazz piano, moves back to Ithaca, and we're roommates for a summer, and he gets his own place. During that time, we were roommates. He had his beautiful Gibson L4 stolen that he'd had forever out of our apartments. The only thing that they stole, somebody was casing our place or something. Anyways, so Paul would periodically ask me, "Have you heard from Deirdre? Have you heard from Deirdre?" No. So in 1990, 5 years later, I'm in the Ithaca. I'm teaching at Ithaca. Paul's living in town, teaching lessons, doing stuff, playing gigs. We're playing gigs together. And so I'm in a library, and I see a Boston phone book. So I pick up the Boston phone book, and I look through, and I look for Deirdre, and I find her phone number in there. So I called Paul up. I said, "You're not going to believe this, Smitty. I found Deirdre's phone number in the Boston phone book." He said, "You got to be kidding me. You got to call her." And I said, "I'm going to call her." So I call that number, and the guy says, "Oh, Deirdre just moved back to California again. She's with her mom. But I have her number." I said, "Great, give it to me." So I call up Deirdre, and I talk to her, and I haven't talked to her in 5 years. I talked to her. We end up chatting for an hour or so. It was amazing. So I say to Paul, "Paul, you're not going to believe who I talked to last night." He said, "Who?" I said, "Deirdre." He said, "You got to be kidding me. So I thought that number wasn't hers." I said, "Well, I got her mom's phone number. I called her. I talked to her there." Anyway, so Paul says, "You got to let me give me her number. I got to meet her." And so I said, "Well, let me call her and ask her if it's cool. She's going to think you're a psycho." So I called Deirdre, And I said, listen, I've got this friend Paul that heard this. You remember that song you did with Aiden that you sang the wordless vocal? She's like, yeah. I played it from a friend Paul, and he just loves it, and he loves your voice, and he wants to meet you. Okay, he wants to talk to you. She said, okay, give him my phone number. So Paul, um, so I give it to Paul. Next day, he calls me up. He goes, guess who I talked to for 3 hours last night? I said, you're kidding me, right? He said, no, I talked to Deirdre. I said, okay. 3 hours, wow. So anyways, this goes on for about a week. He's talking to her every night. I said, you talk to Deirdre? What are you guys talking about? Oh, man, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So Paul calls me up. I don't see him for a couple of days. He calls me up. He said, what are you doing? It's like Monday morning or something. I said, no, I don't know. I don't have to teach till noon or so. So he says, come on over to my place, hang out. I was like, okay, cool. I go over there and we're talking. I said, oh, what's going on? Have you talked to Deirdre lately? And all of a sudden, Deirdre comes walking out from the next room. Okay. They had never seen each other in person. They talked to each other every day on the phone for a week. And Deirdre came to Ithaca. She was going to move back to Boston. She came to Ithaca and moved in with Paul. Okay. And I was just stunned, right? What are the odds on this? They've never even seen each other. And Deirdre comes there and they move in together. They ended up getting married. They kept living there. They ended up getting married. And in 91, they moved to Nashville. And they had a baby. They had a daughter. She's 22 now. She was going to Columbia University, getting her master's degree. And they ended up getting divorced in the mid-90s. During that time, I moved down here. I think they got divorced in 94 or something like that. So Paul's remarried now, happily remarried. But the so Paul then quit playing music after that and got a regular job. He really because he and Deirdre had put out a record together, and then Paul ended up getting completely, their daughter had some health problems, and Paul ended up using his skills with computers to get a job with a startup company, and then and now he's a big healthcare executive out in Las Vegas. But he doesn't, he hasn't played music. So he bought a piano. He had bought a house in Nashville. He got remarried, bought this house with his wife Eileen. They've been married for, I don't know, since the late 90s or so. So 2000. They've been married for 18 years. And Paul had a studio there. He bought this piano that he was playing the other night. And he'd buy a guitar and then never play it. And go 5 years without playing it. He's a great fretless bass player. He plays like Jocko. Okay. And so Paul is a phenomenal bass player. He's a great guitar player, and he's a great piano player. And he and I have this language that we speak, that all the stuff I talk about when I talk about modes and I talk about, all these different sounds, the Lydian triads, add 9 chords, all that kind of stuff. This is the same language that me and Paul and Aiden always talk about. It's the same thing. But, if you were to ask Paul to demonstrate things like that, improvise something in Aeolian or whatever, Paul would do it. Anything, doesn't matter. he's just a brilliant guy. Just like with his chess playing, he's an incredible poker player. But he's a really successful executive out in Las Vegas, along with being this musical genius. So, but I mean, he and I, when I was teaching at Ithaca, I mean, we were broke. We were playing gigs. I mean, I taught at Ithaca College. I probably made 25 grand a year or so, something like that, if I made that much. I mean, nothing. It's late. This is, 1987, 88, 89. So I was playing 5 nights a week. I'd play duos with Paul, or I had a group called Milestones with my old teacher, Steve, who was we worked in the jazz department together at Ithaca. And Steve would play drums on that. I had this bass player named Jim Gannon who played with Charlie Parker, believe it or not. He was in his 60s or 70s at the time. And then my friend Chris Prasad is a phenomenal trumpet player. So we had a quartet that we used to play all the time. So I'd have different groups, and I would play milestones, like the Miles record. So I'd play about 5 nights a week or so. Paul and I played together all the time, but the idea that he doesn't play, but we would have these weird things. Like I said the other night, we would go and play this video game before I would teach in the morning at Ithaca. I'd go pick Paul up, and we'd go up to this mall that had a video arcade, and we would play this baseball game called Home Run. And you'd pitch the ball with it. You'd flick this thing. It would pitch the ball, and the other person would flick a thing to bat. And with 1 quarter, we could play for an hour and a half. And we would waste our time in the mornings playing this video baseball game. Subi had a joke. Wait a minute. Where was this joke? Hold on. Let me see here. Anyways, Chuck Woolery would approve that one. Chuck Woolery. I know how old you are now, Subi. So, anyways, I mean, we were just totally broke back then. It was a fun time playing music, doing stuff. Miles Tones. Oh, nice. Was the joke? Okay, Miles Tones. I wonder if that's what that... No. Anyways, touche. So Paul is, needless to say, an interesting character. Home Run. That was a great story. So there, that one tune got Paul married and had a child who's in college right now because of that, because of Iden playing that tune, writing that tune. What's up, Brett? So that Softly as in a Morning Sunrise is, I just love that. I'm going to play it again. Listen to Iden's intro on this. This is unbelievable. Check it out. improvised. That's George Garzone on the sax. It's just with a Walkman I recorded it. John Lockwood, that's right. No, Bruce Gertz. Chord charts, Ron, they know the tune. Is it John Lockwood? Yeah, I think it is. Maybe Bob Galati. I can't remember, Brett. is smoking. So the drive wasn't wasted at all, you know? The drive to Boston to find Deirdre. That's what we got to see that night. How you like that? Would I consider doing a lesson on some of the voicings Aiden used? Aiden uses every voicing, so anyways, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, right? I got the whole gig on tape, actually. It was pretty unbelievable. I think maybe it was Bob Galati on drums. No, it was, I know Bruce Gertz played bass. George Garzone is on saxophone. Aiden on piano. And who's on drums? Who is the fringe drummer, Brett? I know Bruce Gertz wasn't in the fringe always. I don't know. Can't remember. I have it written down somewhere. Was it Galati, Dennis? Okay. The fringe. No, the fringe. Not the, did I say the fridge? The fringe. Yes. But that wasn't the fringe. I mean, that was the fringe with Aiden playing with them, essentially. It's Bob Galati. Okay, good. There we go. Anyway, so there you go. That was a random drive to Boston from Ithaca, a 6-hour drive to try and find Deirdre. There's no computers, no cell phones, no nothing. That's what you did. We're in Boston. So I was at the Willow Jazz Club. I forget where the Willow Jazz Club was. I think it was in Cambridge. I can't. It was all acoustic. Well, the bass was mic'd. Everything else was acoustic. Why didn't you use Facebook? Brett, do you know where the Willow Jazz Club was? Was it in? I think it was in Cambridge. I can't remember back then. It was, I mean, I can picture it. I just can't picture how to get there. It was in Cambridge. Okay, yeah. There were 3 jazz clubs there that people played at. The Willow Jazz Club, the at Riles, and the 1369 Jazz Club. Believe it or not, they were all in the those were all in the Middle East, Roberta. I don't think it was around then. I think it was before then. People were not iPhone slaves at the time. Tom, that's true. I wish we had iPhones back then. I wish I had a video of that. Inman Square. That was the other square. Is that okay? So Inman Square. Yeah. So I was trying to think of that. You had Harvard Square, right? I used to play at the American Repertory Theater. I played in the pit orchestra. I played bass. Somerville. Okay, is that where Willow was in Somerville? Okay. Man, Somerville. Yeah, crazy. Crazy. It closed down years ago, probably 25 years ago, something like that. But it was a great club. I played there many, many times. I had some great gigs there. So that was pretty darn cool, I got to say. So that thing got recorded because we went there. What's up, Rob? Sorry to hear about your aunt. I was wondering where you've been. Welcome back. Slummerville, Eric. Is that what you called it? I had some friends that lived in Somerville at the time. A couple friends that lived out there. I mean, it's right near Boston. It's just one of the suburbs. The 1369, Brett. I played there many times too. I saw some great gigs there. Incredibly great gigs there. That was a really, really, that was probably the best time for jazz that there was in the United States, really. I mean, no, not the best time, the last great time for jazz in the United States. Brett, you lived there in '88 in Somerville? Because I lived in Waltham the first year, my first year at NEC, and then I lived in down on Hemingway Street for the next year. That's when I lived in the building with Iden, 20 Hemingway Street, and then I moved down. I think I lived there for 2 years, and then I moved down across the street from NEC after that. Why was it the last good time? Matt asked for jazz in the U.S. because, um, oh, if I do it until 2 a.m., that's right, because oh, sorry. See, I just get, okay. Anyway, so I lived across the street. I moved across the street from NEC. And there was a Y. There was Northeastern University right next door to NEC at the time. They've kind of moved the building there. But that was a great scene, the 80s, the mid 80s like that. Because the 70s was really big. All the great players that lived in Boston in the 70s that taught there, that played. If you think about, Matheny moved there in '74. Gary Burton was teaching at Berkeley. Matheny taught at Berkeley then. They did Bright Size Life. You had Mick Goodrick. You had Gary Chafee, who taught Vinnie Colaiuta and Steve Smith and all these great drummers. Mick Goodrick was at Berkeley at the time in the '70s. I mean, all these great, great players were there. And then when people went to Berkeley, then Charlie Banakis was alive, everybody. When people went to Berkeley, they went to Berkeley to study jazz. Okay, they didn't study recording engineering. They didn't study film scoring or anything like that. I don't even think they had programs like that. You basically went there to be, most of the people went there to be, to play jazz or fusion. I mean, that was it. And people that were the jazz people were the stars. It wasn't the rock people. It wasn't the people that played in prog bands or anything. It was amazing. It was people like Iden and Donnie McCaslin. And I played with another piano player that was a great Israeli piano player who was really good friends with Iden. Eli Miri, his name was. Amazing player. I remember doing a jam session in Iden's room with Ellie and Iden playing in synths in each corner of the room. They were really good friends. And they were just trading back and forth, and it was the most insane thing. Garzone was there, and Jerry Bergonzi, and Kai Eckard was there. Played with Kai many times. There's a great drummer, Marcello Pelletieri, that I played with, who's an Italian drummer. I loved Marcello. He's one of my favorite drummers to play with. Iden's roommate, John Kozlu, was there. I played a million gigs with John. I love John. He's a great guy, great drummer. Just so many people. So many people. Then there were people like John Medeski was in my class with me and Iden and George Russell's class, And there's a guy named Dave Fusinski who was in the Screaming Headless Torsos. Marcello, did you know him, Brett? He was a super nice guy. Oh, what a great guy! What a great drummer. Every time I played with him, he was one of my favorite drummers to play with. I just loved his playing. Really loved his playing, and just an incredibly nice guy. I thought he was teaching at Berkeley last I knew. So 87 was a great time. The whole time. So I was there from 84 to 87, but oh, that's right. He did that record with Iden and Eddie Gomez, and Marcello did that record together. That's right. So yeah, that was good stuff. Good stuff. So, anyways, oh, how many of you saw my video today with Misha Mansour? Am I going to make these things available for purchase? Yes, I will. I just need to ask Aiden about it. I don't think Aiden cares, anyways. Um, Go to idensmusic.com. There's stuff there already. Um, so some of you saw Misha. What a nice guy, right? I mean, really great guy. I thought that the interesting thing about Misha and talking with him is the fact that he said that there's no money in rock music. And I was really glad that he talked about that. Um, he he has all these different products available, or that he's endorsed, like the PV Invective 120, Jackson guitars. He's got a couple signature models there. The bare knuckle pickups. He's got two different kinds that are his. He's got the Horizon pedal, the Precision Overdrive. And I was glad that he talked about that, because that's how he makes a living, is through these things. And there's some idiots that comment in there. I deleted their comments and banned them, saying how, oh, all he does is want to sell his stuff, and that's what he talks about, and it's not about the music. They were gone. I banned them and deleted their comments. It's offensive to criticize somebody who's out there making his own music, great music with his band, and then they're criticizing him for trying to make a living for himself. What idiots. Complete idiots. You know, banned forever. The ban hammer. Branyan. So you saw those comments, Marcello. Well, Marcello. They're just jealous. I did trash him, Tom, first. I trashed him, then I then I banned them, then I deleted their comments, because I don't want Misha reading that. You know, it's offensive. So the great point about this was that there's a lot of idiots on YouTube, Rhett, but they're not on my channel. If they are, they're gone. There we go, Paul. That's the ban hammer. Tom, you missed the trashing. I did trash somebody else who came back with somebody wrote about my Apple thing. It wasn't actually that offensive. They managed to insult me and compliment me in the same post. They said something about my Apple video was clickbait. And oh man, I love this stuff. Hold on, I gotta find it now. Man, I live. You guys know I live for this stuff, right? I don't read the comments that often, but when I do, I scan them for things like that. I don't want any curse words and things like that get immediately put into where they have to be approved. So I go through there and I approve things. There's sometimes people write really offensive things and everything. I don't care about that stuff, but I don't like it when they offend people like Misha. He was on here. He's being completely honest about everything, how he makes a living in music, about there's not money in it for his band, and they're the preeminent, one of the biggest metal bands out today. Troll control it's necessary. It is, Frederick. So I had some guy write to me about on my Apple video, and I don't know why I saw this, because there's not that many So here it is. It doesn't get very many comments anymore, right? So he says, producing a clickbaited title video, a clickbait titled video. He has click dash bait. Clickbait is actually one word. Um, Ranting about a company doing stuff purely to generate income and posting it on your monetized YouTube channel for the purpose of generating views and thus income is the most ironic thing I've seen all day. That's the most ironic thing you've seen all day, you've obviously haven't been on the internet. I do like most of your wait, hold on. Self-proclaimed Apple fan here. Yeah, of course. Mac OS, iOS, and Logic Pro are fantastic. I do like most of your videos, Rick, and find them highly entertaining, educational, and enjoyable. Especially like your What Makes This Song Great, Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name. Okay? Let's see here. And he says, oh wait, somebody else wrote. I mean, I can't even say some of this stuff on here. People always say I'm dumb on here. I mean, I laugh. So I said, Ron, I don't owe Apple anything. I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars to support that company. By the way, I made this video last year and have since moved to a PC and Hackintosh. You don't make videos for the purpose of getting views. I've made over 500 free videos between the two channels, and some of my biggest videos are completely weird ones. How much money do I make on this stuff? Not much, I can assure you. Especially videos like my Rage Against the Machine video. In fact, none of the What Makes This Song Great videos I've done make any money. Every word in the video, the Apple video, is completely valid. You call it clickbait. What is clickbait about? The video is exactly what it says it is. I say that Apple products are terrible now or crap. That's what it says in the title. That's what it says in the video. Clickbait is when you draw someone in just to get a click. The video is not that. So, video is when you trick someone into watching your thing, and then it's not about that. But then he writes me back. He says, Rick, I truly appreciate the reply. I read your title again, and I stand by the clickbait comment. In my opinion, it's exaggerated and seems to be written for the purpose of getting people to click on the link to see the video. Well, that's what all videos are about. If I'm wrong about monetizing these videos, I apologize. I feel like the purpose of the video was an exaggerated rant to rile up supporters and piss off Apple fans. Glad to hear your Hackintosh is working out. I'll definitely be checking out the video more. I really do appreciate your insight. So there you go. That was a very nice response, though. But the purpose of making a video is for people to click on it. I mean, it's complete idiocy, right? I mean, no, I make videos so that people don't watch them. I mean, where's the logic in this? It's like, you can't make videos for people to click on. Well, you can, but he reread the title and still thought it was clickbait. That was not clickbait. I said Apple is good if you like crap. And the whole video basically was me saying why I feel that way. There is no logic. You use Pro Tools. That's pretty good. We're on YouTube, right? Exactly. So there's no deception in the title. It's not clickbait. It summarizes the video. Clickbait is watch what happens when I, fall down into my gobos in the other room, or whatever. Branyan, people just want a reason to complain. Nari, what's up? Welcome. Jari, some people, when they have nothing to do, go ahead and do nothing anyway. That is pretty good. Can I quote you on that? Oh, brother. That is pretty good. So I want to compliment Rhett for his video. He did a video on the John Mayer guitar that Fender put out, or that PRS put out. John Mayer has moved from Fender, and I have a new Fender video. Just like we did our Gibson video, we said that we were going to do one on Fender, and we did that one on Fender, and that one's coming out tomorrow. The Silver Sky. So my title tonight is Clickbait. Double K. There you go. By the way, you know when you guys are hearing distortion? My camera does distort. I figured that out. It does distort. Anyway, so Rhett's video is really blown up. Any of you that have watched it, his video about that. And we talk about that video in our new Fender thing that's coming out tomorrow. I don't think... Does anyone appreciate the fact that I put out a video every single day, just about? I'm just kidding, actually. Let's see here. I don't hold any videos back. I mean, I could put out a video. I could wait a couple days. I mean, I have no videos. Is it 41,000 views? Because I wanted to go look it up. All right, thanks. I have no videos sitting waiting to go except that one. And the only reason I have that one done then is I'm the Carl Sagan of music. I love that. I'll take that any day. Aiden's website does not appear to be working. No, you got to go aidenessenmusic.com. I'll put it here. I can't type, you know that. You guys know that? Can you hear? There we go. That's how you get to Aiden. I literally have 0 videos waiting to go. And like I said, the only reason I have this is because Rhett shot this video, just like he shot the Gibson video, and he edited it for me. Edited. How do you even say that word? Those are the kind of words that I stumble over in my videos. Edited it. That's those two words together don't really. It's like rural. Edited it. So thank you for doing that, for doing the edit, Rhett. Saved me a lot of time. Edited it. Okay, I got it now. God, that is tough. You can't type. I can't type ever. I edited it. I will go back and change phrases. Obviously, that's where you see my jump cuts. When I try and say something 3 times like that and I can't say it. Tom, you can't type. That's why you rarely comment. That's me. That's why I don't. That's why I'm good. I have videos because I can't type. So yeah, so we're doing the same format with the 3 of us, me and Rhett and Dave Honorato. Oh, I got to say this too. I haven't really commented on the Gibson video at all. Those kind of videos don't need comments. The trolling is spread out amongst the 3 of us, and the only people they're trashing are Rhett and Dave. So, some guy was writing in about the wood doesn't make any difference. He's a guitar. Some guy wrote a comment and he says, "I'm a guitar collector, and I can tell you that the wood doesn't make any difference." And I said, And he went on with his comment. And I started writing a comment. I said, "You're a guitar collector. All that means is you've got money to buy guitars. But Dave could play you under the table. I guarantee it. And I've never even heard you play. So you're saying that a guitar can be made of anything. How about a cement guitar? How about I hit you over the head with one and see if it has resonance or not?" I mean, it's completely idiotic. He said he's a guitar collector and wood makes no difference at all with an electric guitar. So why don't we make one out of cement and I'll hit you over the head with it? How's that? Oh, brother. So, man. Take the cannoli again. Exactly. Which guitar companies are profitable? I think Paul Reed Smith is profitable. Some of the boutique guitars are. Some of the boutique guitars. We talk about this. You'll hear it tomorrow when you watch the video. Yeah, wood doesn't matter. I mean, this was the most idiotic comment that. Ridiculous, you know, just completely stupid. Oh, brother, a balloon guitar. There you go. I mean, God, it's unreal. That's what she said. That's one of my comebacks. So why does he collect? Thank you, Prince. Exactly. Or what? Why or what does he collect? That's the real question. Man, what is the most important part? Duh. You know, why don't they make the why do they make the sounding board on a piano out of wood? They should use protactinium or something, right? Man, I don't want to play that guy for the fireplace, right? Tonewood debate. No, it was a wood debate. I mean, it's obviously completely idiotic. Probably flat earther as well. We talking electrics or acoustics? We're talking both. You know? How about a good old hollow body? Doesn't that make any difference? I can tell you it makes a difference. Cement gives maximum sustain. Dennis, it's physics 101. Exactly. Thank you. My God. Brother. I prefer my guitars made of wood too. I've had, they do make them out of other things. But I don't think that my Dan Electro, well, there's wood in the neck, I think, but I don't think that the body's wood. Rick, any advice on a jazz rock sounding bridge pickup? Ask Rhett. He's better at things like that. Joe, wood makes a total tonal difference even with graphite composite necks. Thank you very much. Carbon fiber. Do you guys remember the Travis Bean made basses or with the aluminum necks back in the 70s, and they sounded great. Dan Electro's particle board. There you go. Rhett, the question was some good jazz fusion pickups, lead position pickups. I think it was. Is that what it was? Tell Stradivarius wood doesn't matter. That was Dave's comeback. But I ended up not putting the comment in there. I wrote the comment out, and then I deleted it. And I was like, let the guy think that. Let him have his opinion out there. Have I played an EBO, Matt? Of course I played an EBO. I've played them on records a million times. The bridge pickup. Okay, that's what he's asking about, Rhett. Good PAF for jazz fusion. Would be great. I love the pickups that I had put in my Les Paul that Dave put in. I think that it's that they're really great pickups. Um, main guitar, Travis, was a Travis Bean. So they did make guitars too, right? I knew a bass player in a band that I used to really like in high school. It was another high school band, but he had a Travis Bean. He was a couple years older than me. He had a Travis Bean bass, and it sounded killer. He used to play like this, not a slap, but he kind of would slap the um, it would slap it, and it had an incredibly good sound. Peter, hammer, aluminum neck, froze your hands when it was cold. Man, you know those. I don't know how people thought of making those. So they did have those guitars did have wood in them too, though. But I'm trying to think of the company. Who's the company that makes the? It's Parker, right? The Parker Fly guitars are are made of some composite carbon. Are they made of carbon fiber? The necks or the fingerboard, something like that. Um, I think it's Parker, right? Are they even still in business? Joe, yes, they make. Is it carbon fiber that they're made out of? I don't like those guitars at all. I gotta say, do not like the Parker guitars. Obviously, Ovation made plastic backed guitars, and you know some of them sound okay. Graphite, okay. Um, some of the um, some of the Ovations, the classical one that Matheny plays, is a great sounding guitar. It's they were hard to put on your leg unless you had that rubber thing that you glued to it. They would always slip off your leg. My brother's got a an Ovation acoustic that he still plays. Rain Song makes carbon fiber. I think it gives the neck a lot of stabilities. It gives it a lot of stability, but uh, and honestly, Ovation made a guitar that was had a different type. Their top of the line Ovation did not have a wooden top on it. Maybe it was carbon fiber or something, or graphite, right? Was that it? Somebody said that. Um, I think that's what it was. Graphite. Their top of the line ones that they made back in the day, back in the 70s, was not made of that. Is that true, Peter, that Fripp plays a Parker Fly now? I think a lot of people play the Parker guitars because they're very light and they're really thin. Um, hard to put the Ovation on your leg, Tom. That's right. Just Joseph says Matheny's Linda Manzer guitars. You know, somebody that subscribes to my channel is friends with her and gave me her email to contact about me interviewing, and she's the person that builds all Matheny's guitars. She's a phenomenal guitar builder. Um, Studio Dude, yeah, the Travis Bean with the metal neck, aluminum. I think they were aluminum. Um, Jerry says two-layered carbon fiber and wood tops are in many high-end classical guitars now. Is that true? Wow. Huh. Huh. Interesting. The Manzer guitars are beautiful, Jerry. Yes, you're right. They're beautiful guitars. One of my favorite acoustic sounds is Matheny's sound on Lonely Woman on Rejoicing. Oh man, what a great sound. That is one of the best sounding acoustics. And then his acoustic sound, and I don't know what kind of acoustic it is, but plays acoustic on 8081 on the tune Every Day I Thank You. He plays a single note melody. Um, on a guitar, a solo he plays on some acoustic, and it sounds so huge, the single notes. Any thoughts on Chapman guitars? You know, I had people come in that had Chapman guitars, and I can't remember how they played. It could be a Guild. So Pat plays Guild acoustic. Dave Honorato, who's was in my video, he knows the guitar that Pat plays in the back of New Chautauqua. He's playing his Guild 12 string. Which is beautiful sounding guitar, but I don't know what he's playing on that song, on that Every Day I Thank You, because it has just incredible sustain, man. I'm gonna get Matheny on I'm gonna interview him, I promise. So 4 days apart, I had Chris Potter and Misha Mansour. I think it was 4 days apart. Is that enough variety? I think people don't even notice that stuff anymore. But it did occur to me to see to have the two opposite ends of the spectrum, the top jazz, sax player in the world, and the, one of the top metal bands in the world. It's really, really cool. Very cool. I think I'm going to, so I'm going to put out the Gibson video. I'm going to do a few theory videos this week, coming back on Monday. Thank you, Peter. Love contrast. Tom, I really liked your comment on that today. Diversity is the best way to keep learning, is to keep diversifying the things that you like, and try to open your mind to new types of music. People that are the people that I find that are really open-minded are people that are into film scoring, because if you're into films, if you're a film composer, you have to write cues with all different styles of music. You have to be a master of synthesis, of writing orchestral music, of all these different things. Glenn, who's Rhett's dad, Glenn Shull. Hey, Glenn, how are you? Some of the most beautiful guitars being made today are driftwood guitars made by Chris Alvarado in Destin, Florida. Driftwood guitars. Is that the name of the company, Glenn, or is that what they're made out of? Or are they actually made out of driftwood? If they're made out of driftwood, that would be really interesting. Nile Rodgers would be a magical guest. Alvarado. It's like Honorado. I'm going to work on getting some producers and some engineers and things like that on the channel. But I'm going to get, name of the company is Driftwood. I'll check that out. Glenn, I loved your Facebook post about Rhett. It was really, it's the best thing I've seen on Facebook. It's the only good thing I've seen on Facebook all year, other than Nare's videos. But it's the best post that I've seen on Facebook all year. It was really amazing. So Bob Rock, Andre, would be a great sounding off. I mean, I think I can get anybody now. I can get Chad Blake, definitely, because I know Chad. Get Eno, yes. Can I do a video on composing for horror films? Yes, of course. So we pushed back Carol's start date to Monday. And Oh, Glenn, you're very welcome. I mean, you know, you got a great son there. You got to be incredibly proud. Um, uh, so, so I'm going to try and diversify on some of the people or some of the, I'm going to get more film scoring people on here. Hans Zimmer. I want to get Thomas Newman, James Newton Howard. I don't know about getting John Williams, but so that's coming up. All right, so I think I'm good for tonight. You guys are amazing. This was great. This is great. So Monday, though, I'm going to come back with some theory videos, and I'll put together the. I'll start. Carol's going to help out with doing the transcribing for the film. I'm going to do some film scoring videos this coming week. Get back to the old school Beato videos. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone. You think Ronald Jones would consent to an interview? I'm not sure, Peter. Oh, clock set ahead, everyone. Don't forget.